Hi, welcome back to my channel. This book review is for What Lies in the Wood by Kate Alice Marshall. I'm just double checking her name. Yes, she's a new author to me. And I had this book as an audiobook from NetGalley. And what drew me to the book is the cover. And yes, sometimes we do judge books by their covers. In the case of this book, it was that bold red writing that you're going to see right here in this image that I'm going to pop up. And I went and read the blurb and decided to read it. Now, I'll just tell you a little bit about how I choose books when I go to review them. If I am getting a request for a blog tour for publishers and publicists that I work with every single day, I generally do not read those blurbs because I have familiarized myself with dozens of authors that I read every single day, week, month, and year. However, there are times when I am perusing NetGalley that I will see a cover that just draws me in. And that's what happened with this book. And boy, am I glad I read it. Or should I say, I am glad I listened to it. In fact, I'm going to tell you right now who the narrator was. Because when you're listening to a really good psychological thriller, it pays to have a very good narrator. The narrator is Carissa Vacker, and her name sounds familiar. And I can tell you, I might be able to tell you what other books I have listened by her if I can be efficient on this. Let's see. Carissa Vacker. Okay. I'm trying to see. Okay. Okay. I'm looking for narrated by because I know that name sounds super familiar. And All the Dangerous Things by Stacy Willingham. Yes, I listened to that. And did I listen to anything else by Carissa Vacker? Kiera Cass's book? Yes. Okay, so I knew Shari Lapena. Okay, all right. So what I'm doing now is just to tell you how efficient the internet can be for us. If you go to audible.com, if you have an Audible subscription, and you look up a narrator, you can find out what books they have narrated. So in this case, I am talking about What Lies in the Woods. And so when I wanted to tell you, I'm like, wait, Vacker, that name sounds familiar. So what's it about? Well, there are three girls. There's Naomi Shaw, Cassidy, and Olivia. When they were 11 years old, they played together all the time. Now, there was a fourth girl, but let's talk about what happened. These girls developed what they called the goddess game. Now, I went with 4 stars for this audio book, and I'm going to tell you from the beginning why. I went with 4 stars because these girls, when the tragedy happened that bonded them together for life, that takes place in present time, 20 years or so later, at the age of 11, the games that they were playing, I couldn't imagine my girls playing these types of games at the age of 11. Now, as mentioned, it was the goddess game, and it involved some really creepy stuff and rituals that these girls involved themselves with or in. And I don't know, I would think that for the type of rituals these little girls were doing at the age of 11, I might have wanted to see they were closer to 14 or 15 years of age. So only because of the intensity of the gruesomeness of the 11-year-old girls, I dropped the book by 1 star. Barring that age thingy that just kind of makes me feel a little off, What Lies in the Woods was an excellent read. So, all that notwithstanding, what happened? Well, there was a tragedy that affected Naomi Shaw a little bit more than it affected her friends Cassidy and Olivia. Naomi was attacked. She was stabbed, I believe, like 17 times, and she nearly lost her life. In fact, it was by any miracle, I'm just trying to adjust this. It is by any miracle that she didn't die. She was actually saved. Now, it's 22 years later, and the three girls, or now women, get together. There is a specific thing that happened that made it necessary for the girls to come back together, of course, as women. However, they couldn't be more different. One is pretty much agoraphobic for the most part. The other one is more outgoing and lives a carefree life. And then you have the other one who bears the scars externally and internally to the point where it has molded her completely. But what is it that is happening now that affects what's going to happen going forward? Now, first of all, it's a narrative that takes place so that you can see things from the different perspectives, but most notably Naomi's, okay? Her memories were a little bit off because when the man that was arrested for her murder was identified by her friends, Cassie and Olivia, Cassidy and Olivia, Naomi was in and out of consciousness in the hospital. Now remember, this is when she was 11. She wakes up, or in the process of waking up, she identifies the man that later would serve the prison term for her attack. Now, again, there was something specific happened, and I'm leaving that out of this review for a very good reason. And the reason I'm leaving that out of the review is simply so that it will intrigue you to want to read the psychological thriller. Now, they're back, right? This event has happened that drew them back together. As mentioned, the girls are different. Liv has severe mental health issues. Naomi has those physical and mental scars. And then Olivia, Cassidy is the mayor's daughter. And she has, she's the mayor's daughter, but she also has a daughter. And her life seems to go swimmingly. Remember I said that they each are different now in their early 30s? But something takes back to that history of that attack. And in going back to that attack, then there's truth that starts to seep through. The truth that starts to seep through pokes holes in the events from when they were 11 years old. So something is going on right now, 22 years later, that goes back. So as you listen to this book, if you listen or if you read it, it's in Naomi's first-person perspective. We deal with the fuzzy memories she had coming out of going in and out of consciousness at her injury. But then I want to throw in this. There are a couple of men that are in the area. Like one is, say, I believe a podcaster, and the other one either is a policeman, but they're okay guys, okay, in the town. And by the way, the town is the name of the town is Chester. So when Naomi comes to town, this is where Cassidy and Olivia live. They live in this town of Chester. So when Naomi comes to town, she connects with these two men totally on the basis of friendship. But they're kind of like red herrings. They're, things that are thrown out there that start to put doubt in your mind as a reader. And what happens? You got to go back. And the book does go back to the events of that night when they were 11 years old. So, I know this is a long book review. I was as vague as I could be when it's important to be vague so I don't give you any spoilers. Would I recommend this book by Kate Alice Marshall, although I only gave it 4 stars? Most certainly. Had Naomi, Cassidy, and Olivia been 14 or 15 when she was attacked in the woods, based on that goddess game they played, I would have given it 5 stars. That's my only hang-up. But I recommend it. Now, I should tell you the publisher and the availability of this book, in case I have drawn you into wanting to read it. This is from Flatiron Books, and it's on Amazon for $15, but I will go one step further, and I will just I'm going to just check my online library. I know you can definitely get it on Audible because remember, like I said, when I was looking up that narrator, Carissa Vacker, I was able to tell you that I was able to see that it was on Audible. So, but I am just going to just take one chance, and Alice Marshall. Okay, so it's not currently on my library, but it is on Audible and on Amazon, Barnes & Noble. But please, check this book out. Sorry for the long review, but this book was worth it. It really, really was. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.